Hi, I'm Daniella Hogarth and today we're going to be making the health probiotic drink kombucha. It's very easy to make at home and much more affordable than if you were to buy probiotic powders or capsules from the chemist. It's wonderful to have a selection of probiotics in your diet every day. So if you can combine homemade fermented drinks like kombucha or kefir, or even adding in fermented foods like sauerkraut, and then actually combine them with probiotics from the chemist, then you will be sure to have a very broad spectrum of healthy bacteria in your gut. So having a healthy gut bacteria in your gut helps with us to absorb the nutrients from our food, to digest our food, and also to send all of the beautiful messages through our body to our brains, through our hormones, and have our body functioning optimally. So kombucha, it's very affordable, like I said. To make it at home, it's about 60 cents for a litre. If you were to buy it from the shop, it might be about $10 for a litre. And you may not be sure of the quality. Sometimes they add sugar for extra flavour, or they dilute it. So what you have at home, you know that it's the real deal. What we're going to do is start making some here. And when you start it at home, you will get a Kombucha Starter Kit. And it might be from a friend or you purchase it in store. But what you get is a small jar, and it contains the 2 different forms of bacteria necessary to create the symbiotic process. And all that means is you have the SCOBY, which is the rubbery bit that sits on top. So this is normally white or yellow in color, and it looks slimy, and it does grow. Some people refer to it as a fungi, but it's not. It's just a type of bacteria, and it's not that scary. So you need this one, and then also the liquid that's in the bottom. So about 100 mils to make sure that you do have the mother. The mother is in the liquid underneath, and it looks like strains of cotton floating. It looks like apple cider vinegar mother. So when those 2 bacteria combine, and they ferment, that's when we get the probiotic and the healthy bacteria. So take this jar when you get it from wherever you've purchased it and put it into your new home. So here is a jar that I'll be using as the home to make my kombucha. So just pour it in exactly like so. And then we need to make the tea that goes in the kombucha for the fermentation process. So what we do is we make a concentrate version of tea. I do this because it means we don't need to wait for it to cool down to room temperature. So in here, I'm actually going to just put 1 tea bag. So this is regular organic black tea. And black tea is important because the tannins are necessary for the fermentation. So that's boiling water, just mixing in with the black tea bag. Now we add in 1/3 of a cup of sugar. The type of sugar you use is not important because it gets all eaten up in the fermentation process. So we just stir this and dissolve the sugar and make sure the tea has dispersed through the water. Just give it a minute or 2 and keep stirring. So in the first fermentation, we use black tea. You're also able to put in herbal tea bags for a bit more of a flavor. Always make sure there's black tea with it. Okay, so there we have the tea concentrate. What we do then is add that to the kombucha home. So this is the jar that it'll be living in, because it is a live organism. So I'm going to put in some filtered water so that I can fill this jar up. The water, the filtered water, just cools the temperature. So I'm going to take out the black tea bag. Make sure that you've washed your hands before this process, because we are using bacteria, and obviously it's very sensitive to other forms of bacteria. So by adding the filtered water in like that, we drop the temperature significantly. It's very important to not put on hot water to the SCOBY, because it will damage the bacteria. So if you do have a moment or two, wait for the hot tea to cool down, or add the filtered water to it to bring the temperature down to room temperature. So that there is actually ready to go. That's as easy as it is. All you need to do, add in the starter, make your tea concentrate, and pour it in with the filtered water. It's that easy. And all you need to do is do that once a week or once a fortnight, and you have healthy probiotic kombucha drink, and very affordable. So what you do once it's ready to drink is, I'll just move this out the way, and this is my regular brew that I have, that I ferment. I usually change the process every 2 weeks. So take the lid off and simply strain off the liquid. So to do that, because I've got clean hands, I just use my hands. Now, you may see on the internet they say not to use stainless steel equipment, so not to use spoons or stainless steel funnels. They say to use wooden spoons. I've been making kombucha for 5 years, and I've never had any issue with the fermentation process using stainless steel. So the choice is yours. I don't think it's necessary to worry, but as I said, the choice is yours. So once this is fermented after 2 weeks, we take it out of the cupboard or from the bench top and just pour it in. Now I stick my finger in to hold the SCOBY back so it doesn't fall into the funnel. So just simply like this, pouring it in. Okay. So you'll see there are some bubbles. This does create a bit of fizz, the fermentation, and if you don't have fizz, then it's still working the same. Sometimes you'll have fizz, sometimes you won't. It can often depend on the weather. So what will happen is, if the weather is warmer in summer, the fermentation process will be much quicker. Or if your SCOBY has grown significantly, as in got thicker, the fermentation process will be quicker. So it may mean you need to change your solution 5 or 6 days, or if you still keep leaving it to 1 week or 2 weeks, the solution will become much stronger in probiotics. Now the flavor changes, it becomes more astringent, and it does taste more like apple cider vinegar. It's still fine to drink. It's just that the flavor can be overwhelming. So I suggest having a smaller amount or mixing it with soda. So here we have the finished product. I like to add one more step to the process because it adds flavor and it adds more fizz. Not always more fizz, but sometimes. So what I do is what's called a second fermentation. And this is where I'll add some fruit. So here I have some blueberries, and I like to squeeze them just so that they're open. And I'll just put in probably 1 or 2 tablespoons, just depending on how much flavor I want. So some other great fruits to add are strawberries, ginger, citrus peels or peach, pineapple. Any fruit is delicious. And this is where you can get quite creative and also start getting some nice colors. So that one is blueberry. And this is what it looks like when it's finished the second ferment. So it goes quite light in color and it tastes delicious. Really good. So when you're starting to have kombucha, because it is a probiotic, you don't want to have too much initially. So I actually suggest only having about 1 tablespoon or 1 shot glass for the first few days, and slowly build up over the course of a month to 250 mils. I probably wouldn't have more than 250 mils in a day of kombucha, because otherwise you may have quite intense detox symptoms. So maybe headache or cold symptoms, or even the need to empty your bowels. So kombucha is a fantastic drink, and I like to add it with soda, and I have it in a wine glass with my dinner. It makes me feel special, and it does actually help with digestion. And it's a beautiful thing to do at home. My children love to get involved in the process, and quite often I add essential oils to make a mocktail. So wild orange, for example, I might add half a drop to a glass, and it just gives a whole new sensation of flavors. Plus you get the added therapeutic benefit of the essential oil. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, so when the scobies grow, the fungi on top, you can share them with your friends. So you just simply separate the rubbery bits and give them a little bit of the liquid, and then they have their own starter. And I do recommend that you give your kombucha a name, because it becomes part of the family. So thanks for watching, and enjoy your kombucha journey. Thank you.